I'm R.A. Schwartz along with Rachel Galligan, and welcome to the Winsidr show where it's all about the W. Today we are joined by the one, the only number 7 pick of the 2017 draft, Brittney Sykes. If you like our show, please consider joining our Patreon community. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can directly show support for the hard work we do covering the W and get exclusive content. And don't forget to see the amazing written work from our staff on Winsidr.com. That's Winsidr.com. This is a fan favorite, a mind-blowingly athletic player. You already know it's Brittney Sykes. Brittney, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
So I want to dive into your game, and I know Rachel's going to touch on some stuff also, but this is your 4th year, and a lot of fans I've mentioned this to, and they're kind of mind blown because you've cemented yourself in this league. You're well known in this league. How do you feel you've grown over your time in the league?
I think from looking back at my rookie year to now, I can kind of catch the pace of the game way quicker. I still have my moments where I'm going 100 miles per hour because it's just, I don't know, being naturally athletic, it's like the first thing that comes to your mind whenever you hit the floor to just go 1,000 miles. But a couple hits to the floor and a couple of OGs along the way taught me to just pace myself. So that's something that I've witnessed over my years from rookie to now, that I've paced myself better and I've picked up the pace of the game better. Like I can dictate it a little bit better.
Well, speaking of better, you have a career high field goal percentage. Your assists per game are through the roof. How do you feel that this Sparks roster and style of play have kind of helped you excel your game?
Well, honestly, I mean, once I heard about the news about getting traded, I knew that good things were to come. You know what I mean? I was gonna miss being in Atlanta and being in the city, but at the same time, I looked at what LA had to offer, and I knew what I could bring to the team, and to see that coming into fruition now, and as we're playing, it's freaking dope. Just to be able to move so freely and have teammates who have that type of IQ to where they can see things behind their heads, or they know you're going back door, and we're learning each other's different special abilities on the floor, and we're all exploiting those the way.
Just so you know, this is a humble free zone, so feel free to hype yourself up. But I'm curious,
Ah!
kind of, what are your long-term goals for the W? Like, do you want to be an MVP? Do you want to be a champion? DPOY? Like, what are your goals?
I want all of them. I want all
I
of
love
them.
it.
I want
love it.
defensive
I love
player.
it.
I want first team. I want MVP. I want everything. I want a ring. I want everything. Any award that's out there, I want to get it. And if I don't get it, and I happen to lose to a formidable opponent, then so be it. But I'm gonna give every single award a run for their money.
That might be one of the best answers we've had yet so far on this show, and I love it. You're getting me hyped up over here, but I have a lot of questions. I want to get back to talking about some of your teammates in LA, but first, I do have to give a shout out to our guy LW. I know you're friends with him.
Oh man.
Last year. He was, we were prepping for this show, and we love to kind of just talk hoops with him, but last year your defense was kind of in question. And I feel like you kind of maybe took some of that to heart. This year, you're out here really embracing that end of the floor in terms of taking charges, really picking pockets left and right. What has that done for you, and how has that defensive mindset evolved?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took it, personally, and it was one of those things where, I couldn't really look at anybody else and blame them. No matter how information came out, no matter what was spoken about me, I knew that at the end of the day, numbers didn't lie. And a lot of my defensive possessions probably should have been better than what they were. So just coming to this team, and we've had talks as a team, especially with the newcomers, about what they saw, what they felt when they played against LA. And one of the things that every time we played LA that I would kind of get frustrated about was because they were so long and athletic, and they were handsy. They got in the passing lane, and ever since high school, I knew that I had the defensive capability to be a two-way player. But it's like looking in the mirror and having that type of talk with yourself, where it's like, okay, are you going to sit down, play defense, and not let your man beat you? It's an effort thing. And once I realized that, and I can't give my effort for everything else and not give it to defense. And once I unlocked that secret, sauce to play defense the way I'm playing, it's been great ever since, because it just trickles into everything else in my game. It makes me run harder, it makes me cut harder. It makes me go harder in the game, and then you realize, like, oh, okay, this defense is dictating how we can do our offense. So now we're in control of the game, and I'm a strategy person. So if that means locking down my defender for 40 minutes because that'll make the game 10% easier, then so be it.
I love what you said. You're taking me back to my college days where my coach was like harping defense, and defense fuels the offense. But you know what? It's true, and it really is about buying into that end of the floor. And there's obviously no doubt that you have with this Sparks roster. I mean, when you guys are flying around, getting deflections, getting up and down and allowing that to fuel your offense, I mean, you guys can beat anybody, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit more about just your game in general. I mean, obviously, bringing that defensive energy individually, has been something you've really focused on, and you're thriving in right now. But what have you brought to this team? What do you feel like you bring to the Sparks roster that they didn't have before?
I think I'm one of the Sparks. I bring another. I'm another addition to a Spark, whether it's off the bench, whether it's in the starting lineup. I bring a lot of energy on both ends of the floor. I bring another mind to the court in the terms of IQ, and not only that, but I'm a guard who can do multiple things. It's great to have a team where you have people who can do multiple things on the floor. So it doesn't really matter where you are on the floor. And in doing that, it allows everything to just open up even more. And a player like me who thrives in transition and thrives in open space, that's a kid in a candy store for me, because all I see is the basket, and then I get out and pass my teammates. So it's just one of those things where, I just try to make sure that whatever my role or my position is in that game or at that time, that I execute it.
Look, you might be a guard, but you're a guard 5 with that block that you had on Griner earlier in the season. Just gotta say
it. Yeah, blocking's been my thing since high school.
I mean, we had to bring that up. I mean, that was a command block. There's no doubt about that. I do want to know, you talked about earlier in the show about, just playing with some of the talent on this LA roster, some of the veterans on this team. What have you learned so far in your short time?
Man, so, I mean, I could pick any vet and, give you a list of things that I've learned so far. But just with when I look at Chelsea, and how she misdirect, and just change speed and makes you do things on when you're defending her, so she can get open. I've learned those things from her, how to pass it. CP, me and her have talked throughout the game, throughout practice of, little things on how to learn each other. NECA has come to me, and we've talked about things. I think yesterday she, came to me and asked me, okay, when you do this, how do you like this, so I can go here? Or in the game, I think I turned the ball over, and in the timeout, she literally came to me and was like, hey, go on the right side when she goes here. We're just all, slowly but surely becoming in sync and just knowing where we are on the floor, so we can, like I said, make those passes where we know that they're there. We don't even have to look or turn our heads.
Do not forget Winsidr Daily Show, a daily recap of all WNBA games, and the website winsidr.com, and the Winsidr Network, a collection of WNBA podcasts. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
One thing I've noticed with this Sparks team that I really enjoy and maybe his difference is just that the energy on this bench, the chemistry, maybe the locker room cohesion, whatever it may be. But like, if someone makes a play, I got to give it to you guys. Like the bench is as hype as anyone else in the league, and you guys are bringing that energy night in and night out. What's the chemistry like on this team?
It's amazing. I think we have a good blend personality. And not. I don't think we have like too many rambunctious type of energies. I think everybody is pretty level-headed. I guess I'm like one of them. I'll give myself up to being like one of the rambunctious ones. But for the most part, everybody's pretty calm. But then when it comes to celebrating success, everybody's on the same page. So, it's whether somebody's jumping up and down, or Sid has her thing where every time somebody makes a three, she does a dance, and everybody, has their relationship with each other on the team. So when certain people score, well, in this case, everybody scores, everybody's going to jump up because everybody has some type of connection with each other, whether it's a new one, whether it's an old one. But at the end of the day, everybody is on the same accord of just celebrating success, whether it's on the defensive end, whether it's on the offensive end. And I mean, credit to Coach T. Coach T is, like a defensive mind master. And so she gets fired up about a defense a lot. And that's a lot of, our identity right now, and what's to come is defense. So, when something defensive happens, like a charge, or we get a steal, or we get a stop, or we rotate fully out of a trap situation or a scramble, those are the things that gets us excited, because then it leads to offense, and then it looks great. So everybody's going to get excited. Everybody's going to cheer. No, that's just like the dopest thing about being on this team too.
Well, and it certainly helps, having a gym where you've got no fans. You guys kind of have to rely on each other for bringing that energy. I mean, that's real though, and for a team that's fueled on that, you guys are definitely, in my opinion, you've done the best job in the league. But one more question I have, I know Aria is chomping at the bit as I'm kind of taking up the time here, but I want to talk about kind of your training regimen. I mean, you are so athletic, you're so dynamic, you're so explosive. What do you do in the off season to prepare your body? Like how do you work from a training perspective?
Do nothing. I'm playing.
I'm like, wow, okay, I need to get on that train.
Just do nothing. No. Honestly, I mean, obviously with WNBA, a lot of us go overseas. So, that's not really an off season, but I was able to experience, I mean, other than COVID, having, those 3 months of, just being able to be around my family. I was injured, I think, about 2 years ago, and I was able to have the whole year off. And I tried to divvy my time between family and sports. After having my foot injury, I realized how much time I missed when it comes to basketball. So I try to set up my off-season training to where I'm not overkill on my body, because my body needs that rest, and I'm not undermining it because I want to have fun and spend time with my family. So I kind of just do, maybe, because I go to P3, so Peak Performance Project, and I go there probably 3 days a week, probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or just 3 days out the week. I try to get at least like 2 pickup sessions or 2 live sessions, whether it's 1-on-1 to 5-on-5. And then, I give myself 1.5 days, to where the half day is recovery and, like going to treatment or going to my chiropractor. And then just Sunday is just literally a day to do nothing. I just go to church, or, I celebrate, and then I just absolutely do nothing. And then just throughout the week, and my biggest rule in the off season, if I don't like feel like it, and I don't want to say that in a bad way, but it's just, if my mind is not there, then I won't do it, because I think it's a waste of time to go somewhere when your mind's not there, and you have an attitude towards like, oh, I'm just tired. You're liable to hurt yourself even more. So just relax, take that day off, because sometimes your mind might be saying something and your body's saying a whole nother thing. So I've just learned that throughout my career, and that's how I really treat my off season.
Well, speaking of your career and some injuries, sorry to bring this one up. If your Wikipedia page is correct, you've had 2 ACL tears, and I'm curious, How did that change your training and kind of your mentality on the game? I know you touched on this a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I was in college, so it was a different type of mindset because I was still trying to get to the league, and I was thinking, oh man, I got two ACLs. They're not gonna want me. They're gonna think I'm injury prone. All these negative things. And then I just realized, I'm not gonna give them nothing to doubt me about. And one of the things going into after post two ACLs, being able to shoot the three consistently and knock down an open shot. So those 2 years, I literally listed and shot threes. I promise you, especially in my last year, going into my fifth year, I listed and shot threes because I realized that I needed to add, being able to shoot that outside shot in my game. I already knew I can get to the mid range. I already knew I can get to the basket, but after two ACLs, you're not really trying to get hit so soon. So yeah, I just really, really, I really, really worked on my outside game in that recovery.
Well, I gotta say, it's kind of mind blowing for us, the outsiders, to think that you've had those injuries and those recoveries, and yet you're still, as I said in one of the pressers, like Quana in my mind are the two most athletic players in the league. So it's mind blowing to think that you went through those trials and tribulations, and you're still on the top of your game like that. But I do want to talk a little bit about the off season and overseas. I'm curious to always pick the mind of a player when you're going overseas. I know that there's like this double-edged sword of you're getting paid a lot of money to go overseas, so it's kind of like your day job, your main job, but the W is more competitive, so that's kind of like your main job. But I'm curious, when you're going overseas, do you focus on an aspect of your game that you want to grow for when you come back to the W, or is it just let's enjoy the money in the country?
Well, one, I will say that overseas is just as competitive as the WNBA, if
Hot
not,
take.
if not more. And I only say more because we're talking about, the world. We're all over the world playing against phenomenal women. I mean, just thinking about it, and I was able to go to EuroLeague last year and to play against these teams, and you've only heard stories about, and then to go to these arenas, it's ridiculous. The way they celebrate women's sports overseas, like the W, I pray that we get to that stage, because it is amazing. I think everybody should experience that, or at least see it, watch it, hear it, because it is dope. But with overseas, I try to one just adapt, to my role. Usually overseas, it's more of a scoring, and I mean now obviously with the defense, you add the defense to it, but overseas, it's for me. I work on things that I will want to translate into my game when I get back to the States. But at the same time, it's also sharpening those tools that I already have in my pocket. Now, if there's something that, I know my first year overseas, I wanted to work on shooting threes off the dribble and off the screen. Um, but in doing that, yes, I have that in my arsenal. But when you get back to the W, it's not necessarily, oh, let me do all these things that I did overseas. You still have to adapt to whatever role, that you're having to play. And, usually overseas, the Americans are the main people. You know what I mean? And in the W, there's five main people on the court. Not to say that there's not five main people overseas, but the style of play, the ball is fed through maybe two or three people, and the ball moves. In the W, you have, more than enough talent on the floor at one time to where you, move that ball and figure out a role and get the win at the same time. So, it just differs to, what
I hear that.
at that moment for me, what I want to do when I work on.
Well, I like to ask everybody this. Give me, and don't worry, you're not gonna like scare anybody off. But go ahead and give me a crazy overseas story if you got one.
Okay, I think it was my rookie year. It was a false alarm on a bomb scare. We were in Turkey, we were in Ankara, and I forgot what happened. I think they said somebody's like boiler or something had blew up, and it was close enough to where we can hear it. so our team, I'm with Jasmine Thomas at the time, and we're like sitting in a room with two other of our teammates, and we're watching games. And I'm like, did y'all hear that? And then our teammates texting in the group chat, and they're like, hey, I think the bomb just went off. Mind you, this is all in Turkish. So we're looking at the phone, and I just calmly, write in the chat, hey, can we get this in English? Like, we want to know what y'all talking about. So they're like, yeah, we think it's a bomb scare, and this is late at night. So we're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And then our coach ended up writing us, I think, or our manager. He's like, it's okay, it's a false alarm. But it was crazy though, because we're in a whole nother country and this is going on, and if that wasn't crazy enough, I think once COVID hit, and I think we were like 2 or 3 days from not being able to come back into the U.S. because the border, they put that border ban, and that was a little nerve wracking because I don't know. At first, I thought I wanted to, stay in Turkey because I'm like it seemed safer than the U.S. because everything was skyrocketing so fast. And then I was like, oh nah, if I'm gonna be in the house, I'd rather be in the house with my mom. So I need to get back home really fast.
Yeah, I hear that. I've been in a similar situation in Israel with a bomb threat where I was like, what's going on? Can someone speak English to me? So I
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
get what you're saying. Um, but talking about you, I think a lot of players. I mean, we had that viral video. I think it was LW even who made that viral video of you giving your shoes off to that little fan who was just super hyped about it. And you're known
Maya,
for your
yeah.
giving back and fan engagement. Like, how has it been playing with no fans? I've seen you kind of flex a few times at like the camera or where the fans would be. So I'm just curious for you, how is that?
It honestly, it's whatever to me, and I don't mean that in a nonchalant way because you know, do you want to have fans at the game? Of course, but the fans aren't there. It still doesn't take away, from the fact that we still got to go out there and play. And yes, there are some players, including myself, that feeds off that fan energy, that home crowd advantage. That thing is real. It's crazy how infectious, fans can make the game. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I wish they were here, but at the same time, I can speak for our team. We got fans with, whoever's on the bench at the time. So yeah, our fan section is great. Our fan section is lit. So it doesn't even really feel like no fans are there. Obviously, physically, we cannot see people in the crowds cheering for us. We made a joke about, the NBA. They have the fans, the virtual fans. And it was like, man, why didn't we think about that for us, for the W? And then we made a joke and said, well, maybe not, because we know our family members will probably be up there doing crazy things. So it's probably best that we just keep it the way it is right now.
I definitely agree with that. Although there are some personalities out there that would be pretty cool to see up in the stands there, at least from TV. But
for sure.
real quick before we kind of wrap this up with some rapid fire questions from REA. I know there's a ton of questions around the bubble, the wubble, however you choose to pick it. What do you do in your spare time, and is it as awkward as we think it is, coexisting in the same space with your opponents and the referees?
I think it is. I think it is. I think it's. It was at first. It was really awkward to see the referees at the pool. I'm just gonna put that out there. I think it was very awkward to see the refs at the pool, but to walk past everybody, you got to think people have been in this league for years, so everybody has developed their relationships, whether it's the league, whether it's overseas teammates or opponents. Everybody has crossed paths with everybody once or twice. So, personally, it's not that awkward for me or what I've seen. Everybody's, pretty cordial for the most part. It's, I guess, it's not really that awkward. It doesn't get tiring, yeah, because, especially if somebody just dropped 30 points on you, I don't really know if I want to walk past you so fast, to go get tested. but everything is cool over here. And for me, what I do in my spare time, I just play Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty. I talk to my little brother on the phone, and I cook a lot. So that's what I
You're
do
a
in my spare time.
you're a gamer, huh?
Yeah, I'm a gamer for Call of Duty though. Like I'm a Call of Duty gamer.
Only that. Well, I heard a rumor that players were consistently holding doors open for the refs and getting them towels at the pool and just, give them a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink, give me the call. So
Oh
no shade,
man.
don't knock the hustle. I got a few rapid fire questions for you. First thing that comes to your mind, I'm going to put you in the hot seat here, starting off with who is your favorite artist? Music or any form of art. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh man, it's so hard. Man, okay, come to mind. Drake.
You're not the first to say that. Most underrated part of your game.
Oh man, my mid post game.
Okay, I like that. Who is the hardest player to defend in the W?
I haven't guarded a few people yet, but so far, um, I'd have to give it to. I have to give it to. It'd have to be a fighting line between DT and I'd have to say Kelsey Mitchell because she's so fast and so crafty. And then DT, I mean, come on, man. I had to guard her yesterday, and I think 4 out of my 5 fouls were on her. Whether they were fouls or not, it's just the respect level. You know what I'm saying? Of who she is. Like, come on.
She
But
gets that, and she's not holding doors open.
nah.
So tell me, you've been
Yeah.
cooking. What has been your favorite Wubble meal so far?
I gotta be honest. I've cooked a lot of first time. Like I've cooked some meals for the first time out here, and thankful for the bellies that have been, my testing subject for my meals. But yeah, no, they've come out great. I've done shrimp carbonara. I've done shrimp fettuccine alfredo. That's a Villa favorite. That's a Villa favorite right there. Everybody loves the homemade Alfredo sauce.
And I'm sure Neka's happy that she doesn't have to cook a little.
No, but no, NECA's like all the way across campus. So she has like her chef village over there, and I have mine over here. We have a lot of chef talk though, and I can appreciate a lot. We have
That's
chef
dope.
talk. Anytime I see her, I'll be like, "Hey chef, I have a question for you," and then we'll just talk in cooking terms, and everybody's just looking back and forth at us like, "Are they really over here talking and cooking?" Yes, we are talking and cooking. Okay, we are talking and cooking.
Well, speaking of that, who's the funniest teammate you got?
Man, that's hard.
I got to put you on the hot seat.
That's hard. Man. Sid, I mean, honestly, they said that if you swapped us, we would be the same person. So now I say that Sid is the salt to my pepper because we're the same person in different bodies. So I have to say Sid. He's man, and the thing about it is everybody on the team is funny because they're dead serious, and that's what I find humor. I find people who are dead serious hilarious because it's your true self. It's your true authentic feeling. And nobody can take that from you. So it's cool to see.
All right, and the tough last question, how do you win a ring this year?
How do I what?
Win a ring, championship. Bring it home.
How do I win a ring this year? I think, well, it's not even how do we win a ring this year?
All right, you didn't fall for the trick.
No. Yeah, man, it's a we thing. I think we can win a ring if we continue to impose our will on other teams on both ends of the floor, especially the defensive end. If we can night in and night out lock in on that defensive end the way we've been doing these past couple of games, and I mean, it's a win streak. So and defense has a lot to do with it because it was able to dictate our offense. So if we can do that, I guarantee you we can compete with the best of them in this league, and we can defend and win a ring this year if we do that.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and go get back to cooking.
Thank you so much. I'm actually going to make me breakfast now.
All right. You have a great rest of your day, and great luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Remember, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Winsidr. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and all of our different podcasts that we have on various forms of podcast apps. See you again next time.